Hello, everyone. Welcome to Bible in a Year, making it easier to understand. Thanks so much for joining us today.
We're all about reflecting the timeless truth of the Bible through the lens of today's world, making it relatable, understandable, and alive for your everyday life.
We're excited to dive into today's verses with fresh insights. Let's jump right in.
Imagine you've done everything right. I mean, everything. You're the person who returns the extra change at the grocery store. You're the one who always lets people merge in traffic. You're, honestly, the person everyone else is kind of annoyed by because you're too good.
Okay, John, I'm following you, but I feel like there's a but coming.
And then, in 24 hours, you lose the house. You lose the job. You lose the kids. And then, just for good measure, your health completely tanks.
Welcome to the Deeper Dive community. I'm Stephanie Dalton, and I'm here with my husband, John. Today, we are opening up one of the most famous, most difficult, and, if we're being honest, most frustrating books in the entire Bible. We're starting day 19 with Job, chapters 1 through 4.
It's a heavy one, guys, but we're here to make it easier to understand. Today, we're moving beyond just reading the words and exploring the why and the how.
Honestly, John, reading Job 1 today, it felt like a gut punch. We meet this guy, Job, in a place called Uz. The text says he was blameless and upright. He wasn't just a good guy, he was the gold standard. And then we get this behind-the-scenes look at a meeting in heaven that feels, well, it feels a little bit like a cosmic bet.
It really does. It's like the ultimate high-stakes poker game, but Job doesn't even know he's the chips on the table. Here's the deal. We see the sons of God, which is a term for heavenly beings, coming to present themselves before the Lord. And who shows up? Satan.
Which is so jarring. I'm always like, wait, why is he even allowed in the room? It's one of those parts where if you're confused, you're in good company.
Right? It's like the ultimate uninvited guest in the group chat, and God is the one who brings Job up. He's like, have you seen my friend Job? There's nobody like him. And Satan, who is basically the ultimate cynic, says, of course he's good. You've put a hedge around him. You've made him rich. He doesn't love you. He loves the stuff you give him.
That is such a heavy accusation. It's basically Satan saying that Job's faith is just a transaction. I'll be good if you make my life easy.
Exactly. It's Christian EC for a business deal. But we don't use stained glass language here. This is about whether Job actually trusts God or just the blessings in his bank account. So, God says, fine, everything he has is in your power. Just don't touch the man himself.
And then the dominoes start falling. It's actually hard to read. One messenger after another. Your oxen are gone. Your sheep are gone. Your camels, gone. And then the worst one. Your children. John, imagine if that happened today. You lose everything in a single afternoon.
It's a total system failure. In the ancient world, wealth was seen as the verified blue check mark of God's approval. If you were rich, it meant God liked you. If you were poor or suffering, people assumed you'd messed up. So for Job to lose everything while being blameless, it broke everyone's brain.
And what does Job do? He doesn't vent on social media. He doesn't curse God. He shaves his head, falls on the ground, and worships. He says, the Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord.
It's incredible, but Satan isn't done. He goes back for round 2 and says, skin for skin. A man will give everything for his life. Let me mess with his health, and he'll curse you to your face.
So God allows it. Job ends up covered in painful sores, sitting in a pile of ashes, scraping his skin with a piece of broken pottery. It's the lowest of the low. Even his wife tells him to just curse God and die. Which, honestly, I kind of get her frustration. She lost everything, too.
She's the realist in the room, for sure. But Job stays firm. He says, shall we receive good from God, and shall we not receive evil? He refuses to sin with his lips.
And then the friends show up. Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar. They start off so well. They sit with him in silence for 7 days. 7 days. That's real community, or fellowship, if you want the churchy word.
Yeah, they were doing great until they opened their mouths. We're going to get into Eliphaz in a second because he's the first one to start the blame game. But before we get into the why behind the suffering, let's take a quick breather.
We'll be right back to talk about how this ancient story actually mirrors our lives today, and why Job's friends might be more like us than we'd like to admit. And we are back. If you're just joining us, we've been looking at the moment Job's world basically exploded. He's sitting in the ashes, his life is in ruins, and his friends have just finished sitting with him in a week of silence.
Which, let's be honest, was their best move. Because as soon as they start talking in chapter 4, things get complicated. We see Eliphaz step up first. He's like that one person in the group chat who is always correcting everyone's grammar instead of actually listening to the story.
Oh, we all know that person. Eliphaz basically says to Job, "Hey, think about it. Who that was innocent ever perished?" He's trying to be helpful, but he's actually dropping a massive weight of guilt on a guy who is already crushed.
It's the ultimate modern mirror moment. Think of it like a high-stakes security test for a giant tech company. Job is like the lead developer who built a perfect system. He's verified. He's got the blue check mark of approval from the CEO, God himself. But then, the company allows a white hat hacker, Satan, to try and break into the system.
But Job doesn't know it's a test. To him, it just feels like the servers are melting down and his entire life's work is being deleted in real time.
Exactly. And Eliphaz is like the IT consultant who walks in, looks at the smoking servers, and says, well, clearly you must have clicked a phishing link. Systems this good don't just crash for no reason. He's using Christian EC logic, the idea that if you're suffering, you must have sinned or messed up the code somewhere.
It's so dismissive. It reminds me of how we sometimes treat people going through a hard time. We want to find a reason for their pain because it makes us feel safer. If Job did something wrong to deserve this, then as long as we do the right things, we'll be safe. But Job is a living document that shows us life isn't always that simple.
Here's the kicker. Eliphaz is actually quoting theology, but he's applying it like a blunt instrument. He tells Job, "Blessed is the one whom God corrects," which, sure, in a vacuum, that's a hidden gem. But when your friend just lost his family, that's not a modern mirror of love. It's a mirror of judgment.
It's like losing your phone, thinking it's gone forever, and instead of your friend helping you find it, they just lecture you on why you shouldn't have left it on the bus. It doesn't help the situation. It just adds shame to the sorrow.
We do this all the time. We try to gatekeep God's grace by coming up with rules for why bad things happen. We want the tabernacle, God's mobile headquarters, to stay in a neat little box where everything makes sense. But Job 4 shows us that sometimes the why is way bigger than our little human spreadsheets can handle.
I think the big question for us today is, are we being the kind of fellowship or community that sits in the silence with people, or are we jumping straight to the grammar police phase where we try to fix people's pain with cliches?
I've definitely been the grammar guy before. It's a lot easier to give a lecture than it is to sit in the ashes. But wait, it gets crazier, because Job's response to this advice is where we really see his heart start to struggle with the sanctification, or the process of being made holy through the fire.
We're going to take one more break. When we come back, we're looking at the core Hebrew word for today and how to summarize this entire deeper dive into one single text message you can send to a friend who is hurting. And we are back. If you're just finding us, we are deep in the ashes with Job. We've talked about the cosmic bet, we've looked at the IT consultant approach of his friends, and now we're getting to the core, the part of the script where we look at the one hidden gem that changes how you see the whole thing.
This is the part I love, because honestly, if you just read Job 4 in English, Eliphaz sounds like a jerk, and he kind of is. But there's a specific Hebrew concept happening here that we often miss. We're talking about the word nacham.
Nasham? It sounds soft. What does it actually mean?
It's usually translated as comfort, but in the Hebrew Bible, it's way more active than just a pat on the back. It carries this idea of breathing deeply, or even changing one's mind because of empathy. It's like when you see someone in pain and your own chest physically tightens. That's the deeper dive version of comfort.
That is so beautiful. But wait, did Eliphaz and the guys actually show Nasham? Because from what we've read, it feels like they started with the deep breath and then pivoted straight into a lecture.
Exactly. Here's the deal. They were doing the Nacham thing for the first 7 days. They were breathing with him. They were in the silence. But then Eliphaz gets uncomfortable. He can't handle the why. So instead of comforting Job, he starts correcting him.
Why do we do that, John? Why is it so much harder to just stay in the silence than it is to give a speech? I mean, I do this to you. If you're stressed about work, I start listing things you can do to fix it instead of just saying, "Man, that sucks. I'm sorry."
Oh, I know. You have a 10-step plan for everything, but I do it too. It's the Pharisees' rules mindset. We think if we can explain the pain, we can control it. It's like that person in the group chat who is always correcting everyone's grammar instead of actually listening to the story. Eliphaz is the grammar police of suffering. He's looking at Job's broken life and saying, "Your syntax is wrong. You must have missed a comma of righteousness somewhere."
The comma of righteousness. That sounds like a really boring superhero movie. But seriously, it's so gatekept, isn't it? We make people feel like they can't even be sad unless they have a theologically correct reason for it.
Right. And that's why we call this podcast Making the Bible Easier to Understand. Because the why in Job isn't you sinned, so you're hurting. The why is that we live in a broken world where a cosmic bet is happening that we can't see. Job is a modern mirror for anyone who has ever felt like they did everything right and still ended up with a system failure.
I think this connects so deeply to the rest of the Bible, too, because later on, we see another blameless one who didn't deserve to suffer. We see Jesus. But unlike Job, who was confused by the silence of God, Jesus was the Word of God entering the silence for us.
That's the atonement piece. The plain English translation is that Jesus stepped into the ashes with us so we'd never have to sit there alone. He's the ultimate Nachim. He didn't just give a lecture. He gave his life.
So, for our modern seeker community listening today, if you're in the ashes, or if you're sitting next to someone who is, maybe the goal isn't to be the grammar police. Maybe the goal is just to breathe, to show up, to be the God's mobile headquarters for someone who feels like God is a million miles away.
Think about it this way. If you can't explain it to your friend in a text message, you don't truly understand it. So, here is your text message summary for day 19. Sometimes life breaks for no reason we can see, but real friends don't offer explanations. They offer their presence.
That's it. That's the takeaway. Don't be an Eliphaz today. Just be a friend.
And maybe don't tell them they've missed a comma of righteousness. Probably won't go over well.
Definitely not.
We're so glad you're on this journey with us. If you're feeling the weight of Job today, just know you're in good company. We don't have all the answers, but we've got the map and the flashlight, and we're walking this out together.
Tomorrow we keep going with Job's response. It gets raw, it gets real, and it gets a lot more honest. We'll see you then.
Peace out, guys.
That's a wrap on today's podcast. Thank you all so much for joining us and diving deep with us.
We truly value your time and love walking through these chapters together. Your support means the world.
If you've enjoyed this episode, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a day. Drop a comment below. We'd absolutely love to hear how Modern Mirrors is opening your eyes to the text in fresh ways.
Join us tomorrow for another inspiring journey into the Word of the Lord. Until then, God bless you abundantly.